My mother-in-law ruined my wedding photos, so I made sure she wasn't in any family Christmas cards for the next 20 years. I never thought I'd be that daughter-in-law who couldn't stand her mother-in-law, but Margaret made it impossible not to be. From the moment David proposed, she treated our wedding like her personal do-over. The day before our ceremony, she accidentally spilled red wine on my handmade wedding veil, the one my late grandmother had started and I'd finished. "Oh dear, these things happen," she said with that smile that never reached her eyes. I swallowed my tears and moved on. The wedding would be perfect despite her. When our photographer sent over the pre-roux images, I noticed something strange. In Kane's formal family photo, Margaret had positioned herself directly in front of me, practically cutting me out of my own wedding album. In the shots where the photographer had clearly asked her to move, she'd made the most unflattering face possible, eyes half closed, mouth twisted. When I confronted David about it, he just sighed and said, "That's just mom being mom." She did the same thing at his brother's wedding. That's when I realized this wasn't going to stop. This wasn't just wedding drama. This was the next 40 years of my life. So I made a decision right then. If she didn't want me in family photos, I'd make sure she wouldn't be in any of ours for our first Christmas card as newlyweds. I organized a beautiful photo shoot with David. When his mom asked why she wasn't invited, I simply said, "Oh, it's just for immediate family." Her face went white. When our first child was born, I made sure every birth announcement photo was just the three of us. When Margaret complained to David about being excluded, I reminded him of our wedding album where I'd been strategically blocked. Christmas cards, birthday celebrations, vacation photos. For the next 20 years, Margaret existed only on the periphery of our documented family life. I was never rude, always polite at family gatherings. I just made sure the camera never captured her. Last month for our 20th anniversary, David and I renewed our vows. Margaret, now 78, pulled me aside and handed me a small box. Inside was my grandmother's veil, painstakingly restored. "I was horrible to you," she whispered. "I was afraid of losing my son. Instead, I lost the chance to truly know my grandchildren. I have one photo of them with me. One. I hadn't realized how effective my quiet revenge had been until I saw her tears. For our anniversary photo, I asked the photographer to take one special shot, me, David, our children, and Margaret front and center. Sometimes the best revenge isn't the one that hurts the most. It's the one that finally opens eyes.